I love how much Ex Machina doesn't say. We're presented with enough information to be told a complete story, but there are enough loose ends and unanswered threads to warrant further discussion. Take for example Kyoko. We're told early on that she is also artificially intelligent, an earlier model that is not as advanced as Ava, who was repurposed for housework. We're told that she doesn't understand English, but she clearly does. In fact, in this scene when she reveals her artificial inner workings to Caleb, it implies that she understands why he is there and shows him the contrast between humans and artificial intelligence. The reason that this divide between what we're shown and what we're told is so present has to do with manipulation. That is, the manipulation of the audience by the filmmakers. There are 4 characters, each with a very distinct goal, and the only way that they can reach their goal is through manipulating one another. Throughout the first 2 acts, the film has a very clear rule about how it reveals information to the audience. We know what Caleb knows. However, by the 3rd act, Caleb acts without us knowing.
I figured you were probably watching us during the power cuts. So I already did all those things.
The story is one about revelations, why Caleb is brought there, who Ava is, the truth about Nathan, the other AI, and they always make the audience the victim. We're always revealed information. However, as the power changes from Nathan to Caleb, the perspective also switches, but from Caleb to Nathan. And this manipulation of the audience mirrors Caleb's own character arc, from feeling vulnerable to powerful and then back to vulnerable. His character brings up an interesting perspective. He has told himself that he is a good person. According to him, Nathan's treatment of the AI is wrong, and he is determined to do something to help set Ava free. He feels compassion and love for Ava, perhaps he sees himself in her.
Then I guess we're both in quite a similar position.
But over the course of the film, he only behaves selfishly. He spies on Ava, and his interest in her is entirely sexualized. And Ava knew this very early on. At first, she wanted to be his friend.
Do you want to be my friend?
But very quickly, she realized that he was only interested in her sexually. In addition, Caleb's compassion stops with Ava. He has no interest in helping save Kyoko. In fact, in many ways, he resents her. Kyoko is just as much of a victim as Ava and all the other AI for that matter. Even though her consciousness wasn't programmed as well, she still understands that she is trapped. She sees and hears everything. She knows everything about Caleb, and this is presumably what she tells Ava before Ava decides to leave Caleb to his death. In the dancing scene, she shows that she is just a slave, someone who is trapped with Nathan and forced to do anything that he wants.
We spent a couple weeks rehearsing it and getting us all synced up because the idea is that this guy is by himself. He hasn't seen humans for however many years.
Ava is one of the most interesting AI characters throughout all of film, and in many ways she acts as the protagonist of the story, or at the very least follows Joseph Campbell's monomyth or hero's journey archetype. Her ordinary world is her life behind glass and Nathan's literal prison. Her meeting of Caleb is the call to adventure, and her crossing the threshold from the known into the unknown comes from Caleb's conversations.
But she lives in a black and white room. She was born there and raised there, and she can only observe the outside world on a black and white model.
He is able to set her free emotionally and spiritually, which leads to her ambition for real escape. This is the transformation part of the hero's journey. The story ends with her literal escape where she crosses back into the ordinary world. Only now it is the whole world, not just her small corner of it. Many films that focus on artificial intelligence, the main question is oftentimes, is the AI human? With Ex Machina, it starts out that way by asking the question, but very quickly moves on to focus on different ideas, those of freedom, slavery, and how AI transcends both of those. According to the film, a character like Kyoko is a slave, but Ava has a self-consciousness to do what is necessary to escape from her captivity. She understands that she is not human, and uses this to her advantage because she can manipulate others. This places the audience in a unique position. If you root for Caleb, you're in many ways rooting for the oppressor, but if you root for Ava, then you, just like Caleb, are under her spell and being manipulated by her. Nathan's role in the film is unique. Early on, he is compared to a god because he creates life.
The one about how if I've invented a machine with consciousness, I'm not a man, I'm God?
Even if you don't buy into that, his character transcends Caleb, the only other human in the story. He is smarter, richer, stronger, and arguably better in every way, except for his morals. Nathan finds the AI to be technology inferior to him, and he treats them accordingly. Caleb finds them to be human but still looks down on them. The only way that Nathan is willing to set them free is if they find their escape on their own, in doing so transcending him. They need to become a god to escape. He doesn't take any precautions to stop their escape once they get beyond his house. He wants them to escape because it proves that he was able to create something that is greater than him. Through this, by the end of the film, his death is his success. He was killed by his creations, which shows the value of his creations. He spends all of his nights drinking his life away, and only through his death does his life find its purpose. All of these different perspectives about who we, the audience, should trust, root for, and care about is all part of the film's manipulation. We feel a range of emotions across the film, and much like Caleb falls to Ava's manipulation, we fall into the film's. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed. This is a movie that I've wanted to talk about for a while now, but I've been anxious to because so many people have discussed it in one way or another. So I hope I was able to find a unique perspective. It's a tricky movie to get the grasp of because so much is going on, there's a lot of subjectivity, but hopefully I was able to tie it into enough objectivity to provide an interesting discussion. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's a new video every Saturday. I put a link to my last video on Guillermo del Toro, monsters, and humanity, so check that out if you're interested, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.